Hello, all, and welcome to today's episode of Findut. In today's episode, we are going to discuss the old tax regime versus the new tax regime. This topic has become the talk of the town, especially among the salaried middle class, and especially after 1st of Feb 2023, after Union Minister Nirmala Sitharaman's budget speech. There is a lot of confusion as to which scheme should one opt for to save taxes, and will the new scheme benefit all in any manner. So, in today's episode of Findut, we are going to decode all these problems and confusions and try to simplify these for the Mango people or Aam Aadmi like you and me. What is the old tax regime? Let's start with the basics. To understand the new tax regime, one has to understand the old tax regime first. In this old tax regime, the main feature is the deductions allowed under different sections of Income Tax Act, like Section 80C, 80D, deductions under Chapter 6A, to name a few. We could invest in various schemes and then claim deductions under the relevant provisions. This was one feature. The other feature is the slab rates under the old tax regime. Under this regime, income up to 2.5 lakhs has no tax. Income from 2.5 to 5 lakhs is charged at 5%. Income from 5 lakhs to 10 lakhs is charged at 20%, and income above 10 lakhs is charged at 30%. If a person has a net income of, let's say, 7 lakhs, his income up to 2.5 lakhs will not be charged to any tax, as per above mentioned slab rates. For his income from 2.5 lakhs to 5 lakhs, he will be charged 5% of 2.5 lakhs, which is 12,500, and for income above 5 lakhs up to 7 lakhs, that is income of 2 lakhs, he will be charged 20% of 2 lakhs, which is 40,000. Hence, his total income tax will be 40,000 plus 12,500, which is 52,500, plus 4% of cess, which is 4% of 52.5 thousand. This is how tax calculation on net income works under the slab rates. This net income is arrived after all the deductions available to that person. Now let's see what is the new tax regime then. The main attractive feature under the old tax regime has been taken off under this regime, which is the deductions on investments under Section 80C, 80D, Chapter 6A, and so on. So all the income earned will be tax subject to the tax slabs, which are also revised under this regime. Currently, that is for income earned in financial year 22-23, the slab rates are like this. For net income up to 2.5 lakhs nil tax, income from 2.5 to 5 lakhs 5%, income from 5 lakhs to 7.5 lakhs 10%, from 7.5 lakhs to 10 lakhs 15%, from 10 lakhs to 12.5 lakhs 20%, from 12.5 lakhs to 15 lakhs 25%, and for income above 15 lakhs 30%. The calculation of tax under the tax slabs is just the same as old tax regime. What is the revised new tax regime as per the budget speech on 1st February 2023? The slabs have been changed as follows. So the income earned in financial year 23-24 will be taxed in the year 24-25 as per these new revised tax slabs for people opting for this scheme. One more revision here is the introduction of the standard deduction of 50,000, which was there in the old tax scheme. This is a special feature for the salaried people introduced by the Modi government in the old tax scheme, which is now carried forward to the new tax regime as well. Also, the rebate limit under Section 87A of 5 lakhs has been increased to 7 lakhs, and the rebate amount increased from 12,500 to 25,000. Change in rebate limits is beneficial for people under the new scheme, and people having such income will get rebate of 25,000, which is the tax payable by them. Hence, such people, after availing the benefit of rebate under Section 87A, won't have to pay tax till their income is 7 lakhs. Once it crosses 7 lakhs, they cannot use this rebate. However, people under the old scheme who have not claimed any deductions available under the old scheme won't benefit much with this change. Hence, this clearly shows that the government is clearly promoting the new scheme so that the taxpayers opt for this scheme. One more important feature of the revised new tax regime is that the surcharge for the highest income category taxpayer has been reduced to 25% from current 37%. Further, it was also declared that this new tax regime will be the default scheme. I have discussed about this in detail later in this video. Rebate under Section 87A versus the tax slab rates. Many people get confused with rebate and slab rates. After the budget on 1st February 2023, our Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman changed the rebate limit under Section 87A from 5 lakhs to 7 lakhs and the rebate amount from 12.5 thousand to 25,000, while the minimum tax slab under the new tax regime was changed from 2.5 lakhs to rupees 3 lakhs. Earlier, the new tax regime had 6 slab rates, which has been now changed to 5 slabs as discussed earlier in the video. Rebate is the discount given by the government on the total tax liability of an individual, while the slab rates decide the rates at which the income of the individual will be charged. This is where the confusion lies. People ask, बाद में discount ही देना था तो फिर पहले लगाया क्यों? What I understand is that it is the way to promote people to report their income. Well, apart from this, even I am in the search if there can be any other reason for offering rebate. If you know any other reasons why the government offers rebate on taxes, let us know in the comment section below. Which scheme should we opt for financial year 22-23? Yeah, I know the financial year is about to end and the TDS deductions from the salaries will be at its peak. So amidst all this new scheme, old scheme discussion, which one should we opt for the current financial year 22-23? Well, there can't be a yes or no or black and white answer to this. The reason being it depends on your annual income and tax saving instruments in which you have invested. So people having an income in the range of 7 lakhs to 15 lakhs and having made investments under the section 80C, 80D, 87A standard deduction and chapter 6A of the Income Tax Act, which exceed rupees 2 lakhs to 2.5 lakhs, can consider making use of these investments by opting for the old scheme and thereby reducing their tax liability. Who should opt for the new tax regime? The large taxpayer will be happy with the new tax scheme, as the surcharge rate under the new tax scheme for people having income above rupees 5 crore has been reduced to 25% from the current 37%, which will save significant amount of money for these people. Another group of people who can opt for the new tax regime is the people who have just started their careers and have income less than 7 lakhs or have not started invested in tax saving instruments. For such taxpayers, the new tax regime will save a lot of tax as compared to the old scheme. Also, people who earlier used to pay tax under the old tax regime but do not have investments in tax saving instruments or deductions under the old tax regime which exceed rupees 2 lakhs to 2.5 lakhs can also make use of the new scheme, as the new scheme is usually reducing the tax liability for such people. Yet it is suggested by us that you should do your own study and take your own call regarding the selection of the tax schemes. We also suggest to visit a tax consultant before selecting any scheme, because his fees is going to be way less than what you actually end up paying the government in the form of taxes. Is the new tax regime compulsory? The other day, a friend of mine came up to me and said that our finance minister, in her budget speech on 1st of February 2023, has made the new tax regime compulsory for the income earned in 23-24. He was worried because he was going to get taxed more under the new tax regime. But many more such rumors were spread after the budget speech. But I call this a rumor, the reason being the new tax scheme has been made the default scheme for financial year 23-24, that is the assessment year 24-25, and not compulsory. That means the new tax regime will be taken by default by the income tax department if you don't select the otherwise and opt for old tax regime. So taxpayers will now have to be more careful while selecting the tax scheme in the assessment year 24-25 or financial year 23-24. Can we change the tax scheme once selected? One more rumor that has been spread over the internet is that once we select, whichever it may be, then that we will be considered as the final scheme and we won't be able to change the tax scheme later. Well, this is the half truth. Salaried people have still been given the option to change their tax regime while filing the ITR. Thus, in this way, they are encouraged to file the ITRs, that is the income tax returns. So, salaried people can currently change their tax regime from old to new or new to old as per their convenience or whichever saves them more tax. However, people having income from business are not given this privilege, and thus whatever scheme they have chosen will remain there forever unless there are any further regulations about it. Why has the government brought up the new tax regime? so many complications and confusions, then why the new tax regime to add to this confusion? Well, the answer to this simplification of tax system. Our tax laws are complicated, and so as to simplify these, the government has come up with this new tax regime so that the income is just taxed at the tax rates as per applicable tax slabs. The other point in this new tax scheme is less paperwork. You don't have to maintain any paperwork for the investments made by you throughout the year so as to get benefits from the investments in the form of deductions which can be claimed later on so as to reduce your net total income. Lastly, even if we don't get benefits of taxation, the slab rates have been kept as low as 5% and 10% by the government for people in the low income group so that they don't have to pay the tax or have to pay the tax at the least amount, unlike the old slab rates wherein the least rate was 5% and in the next slab which rose directly to 20%. Hence, as told by me before in this video, it helps the people who have just begun their career to save tax liability. This